Okay. Awesome. Get to writing again. All right, guys, so any questions over the homework? So we started this lesson yesterday. We got to this point here. Two-prong venues charge a rental fee plus a fee per student. The table shows the total cost for different numbers of students for Lakeside Inn and the total cost of Y dollars for X students at Sunview Resort. So Sunview, Y equals 10X plus 600. We have that equation. And the slope is going to be the cost per student. And the y-intercept is the initial cost that they give us. I'm going to just copy it over on the whiteboard just so we can keep a list of these here. Now, the two things we want to know, and the two questions it has, is which one costs less per student, and how many students would it take for them to be the same. So those are the two questions we're trying to answer for this here. Now, for us to be able to do that, one, we need to know the slope, or essentially how much it costs per student for Lakeside Inn, and then we need the equation for us to see how many it's going to take for them to be the same. So the first thing we can do is find the slope of Lakeside Inn. So we can use our slope formula, y2 minus y1 equals x over x2 minus x1. Now at this point here, we just need to pick 2 points from our table here. So what's one of the y values we want to use? Y'all can pick one. 1800. And its corresponding x would be 125. Now we need to pick another one. It doesn't matter which, as long as it's not 1800. 2400. Over 175. Now at this point here, we can plug this onto the calculator, let it do it for us, or we can do it by hand. It really doesn't matter which we do. 1800 minus 2400 over 125 minus 175. I'm going to go and pull the calculator up. 1800 minus 2400 over 125 minus 175. And our slope is So that does answer the first question. Which one costs less per student? Lakeside or Lake View? Or Sunview? So which one costs less per student, Sunview or Lakeside? So less. Which one costs less? Sunview, because the slope is 10. So the first answer to this is Sunview Resort. It costs less per student. It has the smaller slope. But it does start out being more expensive. Now the second half of this is at what cost, or how many students would the cost be the same, then be equal. Now for us to get there, we do need the equation for Lakeside Inn. Now with Lakeside Inn, do we have the y-intercept? Do we know what the y-intercept is? No. So we have to use point slope. Our y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Now we have the slope, which is 12. But what we need is a point. for our y1, x1? We have 5 points, all from the chart. We just need to pick 1 point on the chart. Although, which one do you want to use? 100. So we can plug in 100 for x. And the corresponding y value is 1500. So we just need to pick one of these x, y values. It doesn't matter which one because they will all end up giving us the same equation. Now the next thing we need to do for this here is get y by itself. So we can distribute the 12. 12 times x is 12x. 12 times 100 is, well, 1200. And on the other side we still have y minus 1500. And last but not least, we need to do what? Add 1500 to both sides, which tells us y is equal to 12x plus 300. So, sun view is first one. Sun view. So we have the equation for lakeside. Lakeside, y equals 12x plus 300. So we already said that lakeside is more expensive per student, has a bigger slope. But Sunview has a bigger starting amount. Yes? So Sunview is going to start out more expensive than Lakeside, but at some point they're going to intersect and cross. Where Sunview is going to go from more expensive to be the cheaper one. And the question is where is that going to take place? Now, for us to figure that out, all we need to do is set the two equations equal to each other. Because we're looking for where the costs are the same, the y values are the same. So to do that, what we're going to do is take our one equation, our 10x plus 600, and set it equal to 12x plus 300. We're going to set the two equations equal to each other. And now all we need to do is solve for the value of x. What can we do first? Combining like terms is, we can, but unfortunately because the equal sign are 200 and 300, we can't just combine. We've got to add or subtract to get things on the same side. We can minus 600. And if we minus 600 from both sides, our 600 minus 600 is 0, telling us that 10x is equal to 12x minus 300. Then what can we do? Similar to the first step, we would minus 12x from both sides. Our 10x minus 12x is negative 2x is equal to negative 300. And lastly, we would divide by what? Negative 2. And if we divide both sides by negative 2, we get 150. So how many students would it take for the two to be the same? 150. It would be 150 students. Questions on this here? I understand how we were able to do this here. Yes? All right. Okay. All right. We're going to look at another part with this here. Maple Ridge charges a rental fee of $10 per student. The cost is $1,900 for 140 students. Describe the number of students that must attend for the total cost at Maple Ridge to be less than the total costs at the other two venues. So, one, we need to find the equation. And we need to describe the number of students that must attend for Maple Ridge, bless you, to be less than the other two. Okay? Well, they told us the slope. The slope is 10. Okay? And luckily, they did give us a point. So if we're looking at Maple View, we can use slope-intercept form, or slope point form. We can plug 10 in for our slope, and then we can use the point, or the fact that the cost is $1,900 for 140 students. The 1,900 would be Y, and the 140 students would be X. Now the first thing we would need to do is distribute the 10. 10 times X is 10X. 10 times negative 140 is negative 1,400. What would we do next? We need to get Y by itself, yes? So what's with Y? 1,900, so we would need to add 1,900 to both sides, which tells us Y is equal to 10X plus 500. All right, Maple. So, Sunview had the most expensive starting cost. Maple has the second, and Lakeside has the cheapest, yes? Okay. Now, before we look at Sunview, let's look mainly at Lakeside and Maple. Let's see when they're going to be the same, because after that point, Maple's probably going to end up being cheaper. Because it's starting off more expensive than Lakeside. The point they meet, they're going to be the same, and then afterwards, Maple's going to be less. So to do that, well, we can take Maple's Lakeside's equation, 12x plus 300, and set it equal to Maple's 10x plus 500. Now the first thing we need to do here is get x by itself. Yes? Because we need to get x by itself to be able to solve for it. Now, there's 4 different things we could do to start this problem. We could subtract 500 from both sides. Instead of that, I could subtract 300 from both sides. Or we can subtract 10x from both sides. Or we could subtract 12x from both sides. It doesn't matter which one we do. We just have to pick one of those 4 and do it first. So which one of those 4 do we want to do first? We will minus 300 from both sides. Because here the 300 minus 300 cancels, telling us 12x is equal to 10x plus 200. What can we do next? minus 10x from both sides. 12x minus 10x is 2x is equal to 200. And lastly, we would divide by 2, telling us x is equal to 100. So how many students would it take for Maple to be cheaper than Lakeside? Well, 101. Describe the number of students that must attend for the total cost to be less than. It's going to require 101. Because at 100, it would be the same. Yeah. And the ACT would probably throw a question like this on it, and they would 100% put 100 as the answer choice. That's one of your possible answer choices, knowing that's what we'll go with. They like doing it. They will always put some of the incorrect or common misstep or mistake solutions in there just to throw you off. All right. So we good on that one there? Yes? Now we need to figure out Maple and Sunview, yes? All right. 10x plus 600 is equal to 10x plus 500. Well, the difference between these two is not a whole lot. It's $100, yes? Okay. What can we do first in solving this here? Minus 500. Then what can we do? Minus 10x. On the left-hand side, our 10x minus 10x is 0, leaving us with 100, yes? The right-hand side would become, well, 10x minus 10x is, so that gives us what, 100 is equal to 0, yes? Is that possible? So will Maple and Sunview's prices or cost ever cross? So let's look at the two equations. So there's a $100 difference to begin with, yes? Each time Sunview, you add students or put more students going to Sunview's, the cost is increasing by 10 each person, yes? How much is it increasing for Maple? So they're increasing at the same rate. So is there any chance these are going to cross? No, they're parallel, because if the slopes are the same, they are parallel lines. They'll never cross. So these two, well, since Maple started out cheaper, Maple will always be cheaper than Sunview. So our answer still holds true, and it would be 101 students, because the main one we were making sure didn't, or it crossed or became less than, was Lakeside. Questions on this here? Are you ready for the next problem? Last one we're going to do today. Kim and Kelly are both babysitters. Kelly charges a flat fee of $10 plus $6 per hour to babysit. The table shows the total hourly fee that Kim charges to babysit. Who charges more per hour, and how many hours must they work for the cost to be the same? Those are the two things we want to know. Now, Kelly, they gave us everything we need. $6 per hour is our slope. The flat fee, the base fee, is our y-intercept. So for Kelly, we do have that y equals, our slope is 6x plus 10. They gave us everything we needed to get the equation up the line. Now for Kim, we're going to have to do some calculations. Now for Kim, the first thing we're going to need to do is find the slope. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. All right, guys, let's pick two y values. 26 and 30. 26 minus 30. Corresponding x values would be 2 minus 3. Now at this point here, again, we can do this by hand or we can do it in a calculator. Either way, we'll still get the same answer. 26 minus 30 would be -4. 2 minus 3 is -1. And -4 divided by -1 is +4. So our slope, the amount that Kim charges per hour, is $4. But we still need to figure out the y-intercept, the starting amount. And the way we can do that is with taking one of the points from the table and using point slope form to find it. Well, I'll use 434. Got a little 4 happy there. Now we just need to get y by itself. So the first thing we can do is distribute the 4. Y minus 34 is equal to, well, 4 times x is 4x. 4 times -4 is -16. And at this point we can add 34 to both sides. Telling us y is equal to 4x plus 18. Oh, yeah. Yep, because the other way we can do it, slope is what? 4, yes? So for each y value, it's increasing by 4. Well, they gave us the first one at 1 hour. She made how much? $22, yes? So if I subtract 4 away from it, it means at 0 hours she would have made $18. Both work. So, here are 2 questions. Who charges more per hour? Kelly, because she charges 6 an hour. So first part of our answer is who charges more per hour? Kelly. And how many hours must Kim and Kelly babysit for their totals to be the same? Well, like we did on the last one, we're going to set these 2 equations equal to each other. What can we do first? We can subtract 10 from both sides. Maybe it's a little longer. Here the 10 and 10 would cancel, telling us that 6x is equal to 4x plus 8. Then we would do what? We would subtract 4x from both sides. 6x minus 4x is? Divided by 2. X is equal to 4. So it would take 4 hours for their cost to be the same. Questions on this here? Now, the last thing that was in your notes that's in your notes is line of best fit. Find a line of fit, create, so we can do all this here. And really what it does is it makes a line that best represents the data, that's most closely accurate to the data that we have. And there's different ways that we can get to it. Now, the line of best fit is a line, is a line that lies as close as possible to all data points. Many technology tools have linear regression features that can actually model this here. Now, the correlation coefficient denoted by R is a number from -1 to 1. That measure is how well a line fits a set of data points. When R is close to 1, the points lie close to within the line with a positive slope. When R is close to -1, the points lie close to a line with a negative slope. Now, the best points, the R value really needs to be between 0.95 and 1, or -1 and -0.95. We really need them within a 0.05 of 1 or -1 for the data to be accurate or reliable. But that's all we're doing today.